backdrop, but we're staying positive because it's all change in the world.
Are we?
Of course.
Excellent. Where are we starting then?
A blank sheet of paper, I think, is where we should start. So what's been happening? Well, of course, the big decision has been made and Biden is no longer going to be with us. So let's have a look at some of the headlines here. And, well, they're all very similar. Biden quits, except for the Financial Times, who said that he'd pulled out of the White House. Well, there we are, but probably aptly put. But of course, who are we now going to get? Well, apparently odds are on that it's going to be Kamala coming in. What do you think, Mike?
Well, last night the rumour on the streets was that perhaps Hillary might make a reappearance, but apparently she's got behind Kamala. But then there's the issue of Michelle Obama, because Barack Obama has not, or at least had not, given Kamala his seal of approval. So maybe Michelle or Michael or whatever her name is possibly going to run.
Okay, well, we'll see. Well, I thought we'd just pop across to Keir Starmer, because he was tweeting out his great respect for the for President Biden's decision, and he looked forward. I respect President Biden's decision, and I look forward to us working together during the remainder of his presidency. I know that, as he has done throughout his remarkable career, he will have made his decision based on what he believes is best for the American people. Now, I was pretty surprised at this, because here Starmer was not shocked and surprised. I mean, you know, Biden, why should he have stepped down, Mike?
Well, I don't understand it, because it's no time at all since we were told different.
Well, let's have a look at that little clip where Starmer was telling us that there was absolutely nothing wrong with Joe Biden.
Prime Minister, you know what an increasing number of people are saying? They're implying that President Biden is senile. Is he?
No, we had a really good bilateral yesterday. We were billed for 45 minutes. We went on for the best part of an hour. We went through a huge number of issues at pace. He was actually on really good form, and
mentally agile,
absolutely across all the detail. We were going at pace through a number of issues, which was really important to me, because obviously it was my first opportunity to have a bilateral like that. And he's shown incredible leadership. If there's one thing that came out of the council session yesterday, it was a clear understanding by everybody here that we face probably more threats now than we've faced for many years, and that we need the resolve of NATO as the alliance that's been there for a very long time, that defensive alliance. And President Biden has led through that some of the most challenging issues, actually, that we are facing globally.
We've seen George Clooney suggesting he's not up to it. Is that unfair?
Well, I've given you my readout of the meeting we had. As I say, we covered a lot of ground, strategic ground, international stuff, and not just Ukraine. He was on good form, and of course, you know, various interventions yesterday. We went straight from that to the dinner that he hosted. So I was actually really pleased to have the opportunity to be clear about the special relationship and about our long-standing commitment to NATO at this really important time.
Well, there we are. It's confusing, isn't it? Because the world seems to think that Biden was having some severe mental issues, but apparently not the Prime Minister. But let's have a look at Joe's letter. We'll just read a little bit of it. He said, my fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and expanding affordable health care. We've provided critically needed care to million veterans exposed to toxic substances. We passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, and we've appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. So it's all good news. He's really done a brilliant job, and he's thanking the American people. And he says that we got over the pandemic. Some of these comments puzzle me, so I think I'm going to have to bring in a couple of question marks there. But he said we've protected and preserved our democracy. We've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world, apart from the ones that are running away from him at the moment. It's been the greatest honour of my life to serve as president, and while it's been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it's in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down. Can't understand why, because Starmer says you're on great form, Joe. I'll speak to the nation later this week, and then he'd like to express his deepest gratitude to Camilla. Is that not bringing something in there? Yes, it's happened. There we are. It must be a Joe Biden letter because the graphics didn't want to work. And he said, I believe today what I always have, there's nothing America can't do when we do it together, particularly fomenting and prosecuting wars. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. And I thought I'd end it with a Biden-style question mark, so don't get too worried there, Mike. Let's have a look at who's possibly going to replace him. Well, I've said it's out of the frying pan into the fire because this is the quality of person that we get. I regard all of this stuff as immature in politics, but there we go. She's having a good time and moving around the dance floor. Now, while all of this nonsense is going on, Keir Starmer was tweeting out that we must remember that security and defence cooperation between Ukraine and the UK always matters. And what was the importance of this image? Well, it was Zelensky is the first foreign leader to address the cabinet this century. So that's Starmer getting excited. But I also wanted to point out here that we've got Poland, and it's your friend, Mr. Tusk, Mike, urging the EU to strengthen ties with the US to counter Russian disinformation. I'm going to say to the nation that, in my opinion, Starmer is a key part of disinformation, as we've just demonstrated.
Yes.
But let's leave that